Welcome to The Interest. I'm Christine Stewart. It's Monday, which means our friend Bill Bodnar is ready to share his insights on the world of finance in Master the Markets. Later, our own Vincent Valvo and Andrew Berman duke it out in another cage match. But first, can lenders prevent financial losses by steering borrowers away from foreclosures towards better options?
This is really an opportunity to make sure that people understand all of their options first and not let it go into foreclosure, which is, people didn't have a lot of choice back in 2007.
Property data analyst Adam reported a 13% increase in foreclosures year over year in the first 6 months of 2023. This was also a 185% increase over 2021. Companies like Waterfall Calc are now offering new loss mitigation products to help lenders help their customers navigate these difficult times.
Making it as easy as possible is going to be the best way, and to get them as early as possible, because that's the other thing we found. You send out a loss submit application request. The borrowers, because it's too arduous or too difficult, they wait until just before their foreclosure sale before they actually go, all right, I got to try and save my house.
For more on getting ahead of defaulting loans, visit mortgagebankermag.com. For The Interest, I'm Christine Stewart.
Angel AI is revolutionizing the home financing process. Here to tell us about it is Pavan Agarwal, the CEO of Celigence, the company behind this new amazing app. Tell us how Angel AI is helping the home financing process.
We use empathetic AI technology, so Angel AI understands the emotions behind human inputs so that the application to approval to close of a mortgage is nearly free of human touch and free of human error, and is lightning fast compared to the manual standards of the real estate industry today.
What about the people who have found it hard to get a mortgage?
Angel AI has made the approval process for mortgages fair and transparent, such that we have cut the decline rates for minority communities by half relative to the national average. Just go to angelai.com or click the Ask Angel AI Now button and ask Angel AI your home finance questions, or simply ask her to send you one of these cool free t-shirts. Angel AI has transferred the home financing business and made it fairer and easier for everyone.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to our Master the Market segment. So, wow, last week was something. It started with what we call the Waller Wallop. Christopher Waller, Fed governor, came out and said, hey, the Fed should probably be methodical and proceed carefully on cutting rates. And so that remark met some economic data that was better than expected, including initial jobless claims, which came at historic lows, as well as retail sales. So the good news is bad news for bonds. And so that took the chance of a rate cut in March, a probability of 80%, now down to a coin toss at 50%. So if you're wondering why rates spiked, that was one reason. The other reason is the debt. On Thursday, the Treasury announced they're going to sell $160 billion worth of 2, 5, and 7-year notes this week. And so we have to contend with that as this week proceeds. And the big news for us, unfortunately, is that the 10-year note moved above its 200-day moving average, something we talked about over the last several weeks. We didn't want to see it happen. Well, it did. And so now as a mortgage professional, you got to watch that very, very, very carefully. Listen, the other part we're watching this week is, which could change everything in a second, is the Fed's favorite gauge of inflation, the core PCE. If that number shows that some of the shelter components, which make an outsized portion of inflation, if those components come in a little lower, that could really drop that reading, and that could change everything quickly. Obviously, the opposite is true. Have yourself a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Okay, so Vince, when you're facing some difficult times as an originator, production's down, do you pivot to other products, or do you maintain course and just double down on what you have already been focusing on?
Boy, that's a good question, which is unusual from you. But I would say that it really kind of depends on your marketplace that you're in.
Okay.
I think the problem you sometimes have, certainly if what you had been doing was focusing only on refis the last 2 years, you'd better pivot.
Yeah.
But if you're doing home purchases, then you concentrate on that, but then you also look around and say, do I have in my marketplace more self-employed people than I expected I was, I really wasn't focusing on them before, but my gosh, there's a market here Sometimes that pivot like gets you into non-QM, gets you into private lending, and you realize that you can actually expand what you're doing here, and you should, because your marketplace has more opportunity for you than you thought it did.
So what would you do if you were faced with a down production cycle? Your focus was agency paper, doing a mix of purchases and refi, but all Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac.
Right.
What are you doing?
I would probably try to stay with that as I could, but as we know, I mean, the volume of that is down so low that even if you're still focusing on that, you may have a hard time keeping yourself, financially afloat. I would certainly bring in more opportunities. I would take a look, again, at my marketplace. Is it an older population? If it's an older population and it's getting older, I would probably take a look at reverse mortgages and say, what can I do here? Is this a really good product? And with reverse mortgages, you have to have a lot of education to make this work for you. So,
It's all about education.
so you're gonna have to spend a little bit of time there. I think with the other products that we're talking about, again, private lending, are you going to deal with people who are not buying up properties and rehabbing them? You need to really understand how that market works. And the same thing with non-QM. I think non-QM is a fantastic product. It works for so many people on so many levels. The self-employed, I once said during COVID to one of the big companies they didn't know what was going to happen with non-QM. I said, you guys should be focusing on pizza shop owners. They are all having a great time in COVID, and they all could probably use your product.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Would you pivot?
Yeah. So to me, I believe there's riches and niches. So I personally I think pivoting, but use that opportunity to pivot to say, hey, listen, maybe I should focus on something else. Maybe I should focus on non-QM. Non-QM is just there's still what I believe is a blue ocean out there. Reverse mortgages. I think it's a different animal, but great opportunity, amazing product. Of course, working with real estate investors. I mean, what couldn't you like about 7 loans a year versus 7 loans of a lifetime?
Right.
So for me, I am pivoting and I'm staying in pivot mode.
I agree. Well, you see, in this case, I agree with you. I think a down market especially. An up market, you get overwhelmed with how much work is coming into what you're comfortable with. But a down market, you have to look for new opportunities and new things to add to your portfolio. And when you do, sometimes you're sitting there like, well, actually, I'm actually getting pretty good at this. I want to make sure I can deal with as many potential customers as possible. This has actually helped me find new ways to bring in more revenue.
Yep.
So.
And of course, the byproduct is you could still do that agency paper. So you might be the expert when it comes to dealing with these niches, but you're always going to be willing to do a regular Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac 30-year fixed for owner-occupied borrowers.
Well, I'll tell you, we don't disagree too much on this one here. So what I'm going to have to end this one on is you have a point. Andrew has a point. For once. Okay.
For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to nationalmortgageprofessional.com.